It's time for our first interview for the day. On the line, I am joined by Dom Johnson Allen. After initially running an emergency feeding project for communities in the Western Cape in 2020, Dom Johnson Allen turned his focus on finding something more sustainable. After much deliberation and community consultation, this led to the start of Backyard Farms, a sauce-selling enterprise created with the soul of intention, creating a sustainable business model for upliftment of women in the township, or should I say in the Cape Flats. How are you, Dom?
I'm well, thank you, and good morning, Kusi, and good morning to your listeners. Thank you for inviting me onto your show.
Nice, thank you. Actually, thanks to you for having time to speak to us. How are you keeping, though? It's cold, yeah?
Well, look, I'm from the UK, so this is positively tropical for me.
Hey, Shay, I wish I was you. Eh? It's just normal for you.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so now when it comes to what you've been part of, you know, for example, with the Backyard Farms, this is a beautiful initiative. I know that there's different organizations kind of like doing the same, but obviously they different. All around them are they different, but they all saying the same message, that it's about time now we start growing our own food. Take me back though, Dom. How did you get involved in this before you go straight into the Backyard Farms?
So what happened, as you mentioned when you introduced me, was that I was running an emergency feeding project from a facility called the Pebbles Kitchen, which is outside of Stellenbosch. And we launched this project with funds raised both internationally and locally, with the intention of feeding many hungry families that were particularly affected by the lockdown that had been working in the agricultural sector. So we were working very much with the big farming community around Stellenbosch and Franschhoek, and we started sending out both cooked food and food parcels. And during the course of 2020, I got to meet a lot of women that were involved in the distribution of those meals into their communities. And we worked very closely with them to ensure that they were getting the food to the people that were most needy. Not just the ones that wanted it, but of course the ones that needed it. And during the course of the year, I realized as I built up relationships with these women that when we stopped running this feeding project, our relationship would end. And I didn't want that to happen. So I wanted to try and create something where we could carry on working together, but in a more empowering, sustainable way, which is how we came up with Backyard Farms, by looking at the resources that I had to hand, the resources that they had to hand. We pulled it and we put it all together and we came up with Backyard Farms.
I want to know though, how was the shift from the feeding scheme and now to the Backyard Farms? Was it smooth?
It was smooth. I have a background in business and brand development, which has been very much sort of hospitality and food focused. So the intention was all along that we didn't want to just help these women create little small farms, either run with friends in a community garden or indeed in their own backyard. The intention was always to create the farms, but then more importantly, buy all of their harvests from them. So where we differ to many other organizations is that we are a route to market for these women. So we help them with seedlings, compost, fertilizer, and training. They then grow all of their harvest, and we then go back when it's ready, and we buy it from them, and we use that produce in our range of sources. So they don't have that stress of wondering what to do when they've got a whole basket of ripe produce. We are there, we buy it from them, and then they just carry on growing more stuff. And that has proved to be the real positive influence that we've been able to bring to this relationship.
If you have just joined us now, we're speaking to Dom Johnson Allen, who they launched in July 2021, Backyard Farms. Now they have 30 partners around the Cape Winelands and Cape Town areas. So how has it been working with 30 different partners who support you?
Look, it's great. And what we've purposefully done is we have tried different models to see which relationships and which partnerships work the best. And what we're finding actually is that it's better if we try and create little partnerships with small groups of women rather than doing it individually. So we might go into a community like Kayamandi, for example, and we'll get 3 or 4 women that are passionate about gardening, and we'll get them to work together on a bigger piece of land rather than trying to do it individually. And that way, they've got support. If one of them is sick and isn't able to come and work, the others can stand in. We have a much more vibrant and fun kind of WhatsApp group when we've got a number of women involved, because it's a bit more fun. We can have a bit more of a kind of social side to the initiative than literally just the farming and the sauce making, and that's bringing a lot of hope and a lot of amusement into these ladies' lives, which I love.
And also, what I love is we're in Women's Month, and obviously you guys have been doing this for some time now. How does it feel though, as an organization, and doing this and still celebrating the women of the world while also helping them to make income and also to provide food for themselves?
Well, just this morning, I received the most lovely voice note from one of our partners who, they live in Guguletu, and there are 8 gogos, and they run this fantastic community garden, which we have started partnering with, and they grow chilies and basil and red peppers and spinach for us. And on Women's Day itself, we went and we took them a load more seedlings to do some more growing for us, but we also took some of our sauces and some chicken, and we sat with them and we had a fabulous lunch. And today they sent me the most wonderful thank you voice note. And that's what it's all about. It's about having fun. It's about learning each other's culture. It's about sharing lunch together. And at the end of the day, helping them learn about agripreneurship and starting to earn some sustainable income to help pay for their lives. And the more sauce we sell, the bigger we get, the more impact we can make to these women. And that's the lovely thing. I was with Checkers yesterday. We're finalizing our listing process with them. So we're going to be starting in Checkers stores within the next few weeks. And that will be a really fabulous springboard for us to grow and keep adding more women into the program.
And also, yet Bush Radio, we have a show called Community Farmers radio show, and hoping that at least your partners will also be part of that show, be invited in there. That would be nice.
That'd be fantastic. As much training and learning as we can get for these women, the better. It's great that everyone wants to jump on board and help us.
So, Dom, what I've noticed is all over the world, humans are starting to go back into the basics of growing their own food. Is there a movement? What's happening in the world? All of a sudden now, we're saying that grow your own food. Even stakeholders are encouraging this, saying that people should grow their own food. What's happening in the planet?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think whilst there was a movement for this sort of lifestyle pre-COVID, COVID has absolutely accelerated everyone's interest and desire to shop local, to support local suppliers, to grow their own produce at home and create healthy vegetarian and vegan options for their family. And that movement was really bubbling globally anyway, but COVID has just accelerated that. And with all of the challenges that a lot of the global retailers have had with the international supply chains being affected by COVID, it's made people realize that we were all getting a little bit greedy and a little bit silly, expecting fresh fruit and veg, for example, all year round, which was putting pressure on retailers to have to import these produce from all over the world. And that COVID made people stop and think about what they were eating and realize that actually we should be focusing on what is seasonal, what is fresh, and what can we grow in our own backyard. And that we've really just jumped on that bandwagon, and we're trying to sort of help tell the story and commercialize it for the women in the townships.
On the line, we're joined by Dom Johnson Allen, whom they started Backyard Farms, where now they have like 30 partners around the Cape Winelands and also Cape Town areas, which started in July in 2021. So a project like this, it might sound good, beautiful, that, oh, wow, it's providing and all that. But now, when you look at the background, you'll see that there's also challenges. I would like to know, though, what are some of those challenges that you guys face and also how you deal with them?
So whilst we are a social enterprise, Kusi, we are a business. So we're a small business where, as you've mentioned, we're only 1 year old. So our challenges are that we need to get our brand as well known as we can. We want to be a household name. We want to stop people buying, for example, Tabasco sauce, which is imported from America, and we want them to buy our hot sauces. There are lots of other big global brand names in the food market, and we want to change people's shopping habits so that rather than grabbing the well-known international brands, they'll start supporting local. And that's an expensive and a time-consuming exercise, which we're doing the best we can, but of course that is always a challenge. We're just moving into a new production facility so that we can service the likes of Checkers and other big retailers. That also has its challenges because we're now having to work with a totally new group of people in a new food production center just outside Paarl. And so we need to train them in our methodology and our recipes so that our quality is never compromised when they make our sauce for us, because we're too small at the moment to have our own factory. So we're having to rely on other people to make our sauce for us. That, of course, is another challenge. But as we grow, all of those challenges will become easier. Hopefully we'll become a household name as I suggested.
And share with us about your new listing with Wellness Warehouse.
So they were one of the first national retailers to support our growth. We are currently in 11 of their stores, which we're not in all of them because not all of them have got a large food range. But what it does is it allows customers that want to buy Backyard Farms, it allows them to be able to buy our produce in Durban, Johannesburg, and Cape Town. So it was great for us because it allows that national coverage so that people can either buy it for themselves or buy gifts for friends in all of the major cities in South Africa. And so that was a great springboard, and we're very, very thankful and very grateful for Wellness for supporting us.
Dom, before I let you go, though, do you have any further future plans with the Backyard Farm?
Absolutely. I mean, we like I mentioned, we're going into Checkers shortly. That will just be the start of our major food retail journey. We want to get onto all of the shelves of Checkers, Pick n Pay, Spar, Food Lovers, Woolies. We want to be everywhere you go shopping, whether it's in store or online. I want you to be able to add our sauce to your basket and take it home for a fantastic family meal. So that is our biggest goal. And in line with that, our dream is to have thousands of women all over South Africa that are growing produce for us so we can really make a huge impact into their lives. And so the beauty of Backyard Farms is that it's a real win-win for everybody. If customers want to support women in our townships, they can do it by buying fantastically tasty, healthy sauces for their family supper. So they're getting something good, and then we are able to support those women through that. So it's a win-win for all concerned.
If you have just joined us, speaking to Dom Johnson Allen, who's also one of the founders for Backyard Farms that now have 30 partners around the Cape Winelands and also Cape Town areas. So, Dom, as a successful business person, what do you think goes into making a business or starting an idea successfully?
I honestly think one of the best things that people can do is to do some decent and thoughtful research, but don't analyze forever. Eventually, you need to go with your gut, you need to go with your passion, and you just need to start something. And more often than not, when you start something, new opportunities will come your way. New people will come into your life, new ideas will be presented to you, and all of a sudden, things will start to fly. And my greatest advice is never stay too focused on the detail of your day-to-day operations. Make sure that you put your head above the water, talk to people that are in the industry, go and have coffee with people that are doing similar stuff, and learn what is working in the industry and in the sector you're in, and make sure that you're looking at collaborations and partnerships and really exploring new opportunities. And then, who knows where you're going to end up.
Let's say somebody who's listening now and would love to start their own backyard farm or be involved with you guys or even have questions. How can they get hold of you?
Well, I'm very easy to get hold of. I don't believe in hiding behind faceless websites. So if you go onto our website, which is backyardfarms.co.za, you can find my phone number, you can find my email address, you can fill in a form which will be automatically sent to me with your questions, or if you're interested in maybe trying to set up a farm either for yourself or maybe for somebody that you know. So it's very easy to get hold of me. All of our contact information is there. We're also on Instagram and Facebook at Backyard Farms Africa, so you can see some of the images and work that we're doing there. So yeah, please get in touch. We want to hear from anybody that can support us in any way. We're always looking for new listings. We want to get into more shops. We go into gift shops. We go into delis. We go into food retailers. We go into food distributors. So please get in touch and help us grow, because the more we grow, the more we can help.
I'm loving it. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to add any further, but before that, usually with our guests, we always ask them, what would you like to say to the listener? Maybe they're losing hope, in life, especially with COVID-19, losing jobs and all that. What would you like to say to the listeners listening now in words of encouragement, Dom?
So what I would say is that if everybody just looks around their local, immediate society, there will always be people that can be helped and people that you can collaborate with and partnership with. And even if you're in a job that you don't really like, make sure that pays the bills, and get out in the weekends or in the evenings and do some stuff that you're passionate about. A lot of people believe that to follow their passion, it has to be their day job. Well, that's not, everybody's not always that lucky. Sometimes we need to put bread on the table with a day job, and we follow our passions in the evening and the weekend. And start with that, and then see where that takes you, and see if you get to a stage where by doing some sort of small side gig, you're able to chuck in your day job and focus on that, and then you're off running your first venture.
That is Dom Johnson Allen. Dom, thank you very much for having time to speak to us. We hope to speak to you again.
Great. Well, thank you for inviting me.
Sweet. Have a beautiful week.